Most people think they understand the human nature, but truth be told, they don't. That's why good people feel ignored, bad people getting the attention, and society keeps producing confused men and emotionally lost women, especially these days. You can relate to that. If you've ever felt like doing the right thing didn't work, this video will explain why. And in this video, I'm going to actually dive into some of the most profound books that I have read in my life, including The Animal Farm by George Orwell. I believe that's one of the best kind of symbolism ever explained and included in a book. And if you watch this video, you don't need to buy the book, you don't need to read the book. So it's gonna be completely free for you, and you're gonna get the gist of it. And also, gonna give you some extra hints that I personally believe that can, let's say, enrich the whole kind of thing. If you like it, feel free to subscribe to our channel, like the video. So, we're taught that the humans are logical and kind and fair, which is fair enough to some extent, we all are, but not all of us. What if I told you that if you work hard and be respectful and follow the rules, life will reward you? You're gonna be like, yeah, works. But it doesn't. Reality shows something different. The humans are emotional first, and then they think, because they do something based on emotion. They will rationalize it. Yeah, I did it because of that. So driven by fear, desire, power, and survival. Like, there are a few senses that kind of dominate all our lives. One of them is sense of belonging to a group, having like intimacy and sex. That is what. Why is it like that? Because look, we are the survivors of our ancestors. Those people that survived at that time needed to actually reproduce, and also the fear. So the people who did not fear at that time were like demolished, and they were eaten by animals and bears, and they were killed. So the fearless people were dead. So that's why we have the fear this time. Stress, fears, it's a very natural kind of feeling that you have. Because if you don't have it, well, you will be dead, let's be honest. But these kind of fears and this kind of feelings would actually lead to the survival. You know, we don't fall in love with what's right, we fall in love with what feels right, what feels strong. From the childhood, boys are told to actually do this kind of nice thing, be quiet, agreeable, nice, and all, and don't be very bad, and just try to show agreeableness and don't cause trouble or anything. They train to actually, avoid the conflict and not to master it. So they grow up trying to please, trying to be nice, trying to be chosen. But attraction doesn't work like that. And through the symbolism, we understand that the person who has the power is sometimes stoic. Stoic meaning that they don't show affection, they don't show that kind of feeling. They think that it perhaps might be a weakness to show that you care about someone. So, respect doesn't come from the kindness alone, it comes from strength plus boundaries. When a man has no edge, no backbone, no darkness that he can possess and he can control, he becomes invisible. Why? Because you want someone who's a beast and can control being an animal and can provide for someone else. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Jordan Peterson famously says this, that for a man, he needs to get a lot of power, be able to become really powerful, like a warrior, like a beast, and then learn how to control it. You might be like, why? It doesn't make sense. Actually, it does. Because if you have the capacity to, let's say, rule and to control, you have a strength, you have power, and you can control it. So if there will be difficult moments in your life with your family and there will be some problems, let's say, you can actually handle them. But to your children, to your wife, to the people that are around you, you need to show mercy. You need to be nice to them. So you need to control that. But the opposite doesn't work out fine, because if you would be just nice, there will be difficult moments, and you cannot get the things together. You will be failing. So your family would leave you. You cannot control it. You're not a capable man. That's the problem with the weak man. And these days, well, the testosterone is dropping, and men are becoming like women, and they cannot talk. And when they talk, they will be like, "Hey, you're a misogynist." They will be given a tag, because that's what they want. You're living inside the matrix. I have a video on Matrix. You can go watch that one, and let me know what you think. By the way, I feel like I do look much more handsome wearing the sunglasses on. That's why I keep it on. It gives me kind of sexier kind of look, I suppose, you know. So you know why the bad boys actually get the attention? It's actually very easy, but it's an unconscious kind of truth that people with a dark side are like unpredictable, and they know what they want. They have a lot of confidence, so they take the risk. They don't ask for permission. They don't fear the rejection. That the confidence actually signals they have the power, they have the confidence. It's not that the women love the criminals. Actually, that's you know, kind of fetish that some women love the criminals. Like, there was a very famous story. I'm gonna touch down really short. That there was a guy who was in prison, and inside the prison the guards were women, and all of them fell in love with that prisoner, and they were taking turns to actually go and take care of him. You know what I'm saying? And we're talking about a person that has a lot of character. So if you be somewhere like that, and it's like weird, like, what? How does that work? Like, who's that guy? You know, it's like, there was a famous quote that says, if you lose your money, you haven't lost anything. If you lose your health, you have lost something. If you lose your character, oh man, you have lost everything. So your character will shape everything. That's why you see the ego these days between the presidents of different countries. They would try to say that they are the man and they cannot be messed with. And that's why a lot of wars actually started, a lot of these things happening because of inflated ego that was, in a way, let's say, touched down and taunted and provoked to react. You know, the society's role in confusion is also highlighted, because we say to the men that you have to be strong, don't be aggressive, be nice and be just very strong. To women they say be independent but want protection. To everyone, be yourself unless people don't like it. And it's like really fancy, because if you see the news or like the talk shows these days, especially when women are talking, the women would say, we don't need men. I mean, come on, basically, biologically, your mother needed your dad for you to actually exist. So, other than that, a lot of jobs are dominated by men. A lot of labor related, like the bricklayers, the people in authorities, lawyers, a lot of, let's say, Navy SEALs, warriors, gardeners, a lot of different kind of professions. If you Google it, you can find that firefighters, they like 95+% are men. Construction workers, I mean, you live inside the house. So that house was built by a man. So you cannot say, we don't need men. I mean, come on. It's unfair. That's why a friend of mine was saying that women are kind of selfish. And if they will be given the power, that day would be the end of the world. Because they cannot think outside the thing and take care of the place. Men, they're good leaders. They would prioritize the things. The man would go hungry. The man would go to a war and fight for the bigger sake of their family, for the country. But women, they don't do that. Women just look at the today. And that's not a good idea. I think it's a best kind of perspective to look back at it and try to just understand that it's not a fair thing to say such. So, we end up emotionally confused and pretending, performing, and wondering why nothing feels real anymore. No one teaches emotional intelligence. No one teaches the power dynamics. No one teaches the human nature. That's the sole reason I made this YouTube channel in the beginning, because no one would teach you any of this. Why? Because maybe they don't know it, or maybe they don't care. Maybe they don't want you to know it. They're selfish, they're gatekeeping. AI control and the future is yet to come, and we cannot predict it. So if we add the AI to the mix, the technology doesn't control humans just yet. It amplifies what already exists. If people actually don't understand themselves, AI will understand them better than themselves. And the real danger isn't AI, it's unconscious humans outsourcing thinking, not having the choice and responsibility. A weak mind is easy to control and program. A self-aware mind is dangerous. Of course, in a very good way, dangerous in a good way. Powerful, let's say. So if I want to leave you guys something as a hint, as I mentioned, the word doesn't reward goodness, it rewards awareness and decisiveness. So if you learn the rules and see people clearly, you can master yourself. Because once you understand the human behavior, you stop being manipulated by it and you start to actually take the charge, and you understand that most people around you have their own personal interests, and their action will no longer surprise you because you understand the human behavior. And that's the fact. Kindness and boundaries are beautiful to be taught and to be taken care of for children. Empathy and strength, light and control, darkness, they're good. But the goal isn't to be feared. The goal is to be respected. Respect starts when you stop lying to yourself. And when someone crosses you out and they would think that they can access you like a chessboard, they can read you. Well, once you understand these things that I told you, you would change from that poor mentality into a rich mentality that, wait a minute, why would I wait for them to pick me? I would be so powerful that I would be picking the people that I want. You would be the person who would put the checkerboard kind of wooden pieces together. You would be turned from a soldier, promoted to high ranked kind of officer, that you would be able to do that. It's a mental thing. The word, everything is a mental thing. We all living in a psychological warfare. It's not without a shadow of a doubt, it's not, let's say, hidden anymore. You can understand. So it all starts with your mind first. If you can control your mind, good things will happen. But most people, they cannot control their minds. They're confused all their lives, and they don't expect the good things. They put it in reverse engineering, expect the worst things, and the worst thing will come to them. Because your mind or manifestation doesn't distinguish between good or bad. It sees what you see. You see a good thing, it will bring the good thing. You see a bad thing, you bring the bad thing. But most people, they expect the worst case scenario. Me included, most of the time. That's why you have to do a little bit of, let's say, reinvesting in yourself and getting your mind and perspective broadened, so you can actually expect the good things to happen for yourself. Once you do that, you feel good. And by feeling good, you would attract the beautiful things. If you like the video, feel free to subscribe to our channel. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. And I put a lot of time in this video. If you like it, it would actually help the channel to grow. You probably like one of the videos, the power on the screen, by the way. and until the next one.